Predator Badlands came out in November last year, and I really enjoyed the movie, so now, nearly 3 months later, I'm going to build a life-size bust of Deck. I started by using Blender to 3D model the bust from scratch, and slowly building my way from the head down to the shoulders. By the time the sculpting was finished, my laptop was extremely laggy, so I called it good, and I went ahead and I printed it out on my Elegoo Neptune 4 3D printer. A week went by and I finally had all of the pieces for the body printed. I started piecing them together using Gorilla Glue, making sure to score the edges of each piece. This isn't my usual process for putting pieces together, so I just did this to tack everything together for the plastic welding later. After those pieces were assembled, I used my wood burner to plastic weld the larger sections together and to strengthen the seams. With that done, I had the whole shoulder piece ready to go. Sadly, I put together the head without hitting record on my camera, so very professional, but we were ready to put the head onto the body. I used E6000 to attach the head onto the body by globbing it on there with a popsicle stick. I went back in one more time with my wood burner to close up a few more seams and ensure that the head wouldn't slide around while the glue dried. Next up, I used Bondo glazing and spot putty, as well as some silicone sculpting tools to apply a nice coat of filler onto all of the seams. Once that all was dry, I used some nitrile gloves and put on another coat just to be sure that none of those seams would slip through. After that, I moved on to the Bondo acetone mixture. This is a thinned out Bondo that I can brush on to fill seam lines along the surface of the print. I jumped straight to this because I figured that sanding would remove a lot of the wrinkles and details that I wanted to keep. Once the Bondo had dried, I applied 3 coats of Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler primer. With the filler primer on there, I could see more of the problem spots on the build, a lot of layer lines and gashes that I needed to take care of, so I took this chance to throw some more Bondo on there and sand it with an 800 grit sandpaper. Another coat of filler primer got put on those problem spots, and I ran through that entire process one more time just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Now that all of those spots are taken care of, I threw one last coat of filler primer on there before the painting. To start the painting, I busted out the airbrush and base coated all of the skin with coffee brown. Now, while that footage is playing, I wanted to preface everything with the fact that I started painting this literally one day before my area got record levels of snow, so I had to makeshift a space inside to get the painting done. The LED lights I used inside gave every one of the recordings an awful shadow banding going up and down the screen. It's awful. So I cut around all of that the best that I could, but it does still look bad. So I apologize, and I will have that fixed for next time. Following the base coat, I went in with dark brown just to add some darker colors in between wrinkles and in the lower spots of the model. After that, I used light tan to highlight the different high points, so highlighting any wrinkles or any areas that were taller than the others. I followed that with deep black to hit different spots and marks along his face as well as around his eyes. Now I could base coat the mouth, starting with crimson red. Then pure pink for highlights. Deep purple for the different folds and lower spots. And phthalo blue for veins. I started the teeth with a base coat of ochre. And highlighted the tips with that light tan from earlier. Alright, with that all done, we could take a quick break from my terrible lighting. To do the breastplate and get it ready for metallics, I gave it a base coat of Mars Black. For the silver parts of the chest plate, I used Modern Masters Satin Silver. The gold parts got 2 coats of Folk Art Metallic Gold. To paint the shoulder straps, I used dark brown. Then I coated the engraved parts with orange. The metallics on the chest plate got a coat of black to add some weathering and some edge highlighting. I dry brushed yellow oxide onto the patches as well as along the shoulder straps to add some wear. After looking at some reference pictures, I saw that the whites of Deck's eyes seemed to be a dark gray, so I went ahead and filled those in. Now it was time to make the dreadlocks. I went ahead and grabbed a bag of backer rod, and that seemed to be the right size, so I went ahead and cut that into strips. I used a pair of scissors to take each strip and cut the ends into a point. All of the dreadlocks then got a coat of black plasti dip. For the life of me, I couldn't find any glue that would hold these into the holes that I had sculpted into the model, so I had to bite the bullet and drill some holes into the head, and I figured I could push the foam through the hole, and then once inside, maybe they would spread back out and have just enough friction to grab on in there. Once all 32 dreadlocks were in, I could go ahead and tie them back with a piece of fabric. For Deck's undershirt, I guess, I used an old thermal shirt and cut it up into different strips, and I stretched that strip around the shoulder and glued it in place with a hot glue gun. To paint the eyes, I sculpted and printed out this little tool that I could use to hopefully get a decent outline so that the eyes would hopefully line up in the end. I went on ahead and painted the eyes with a yellowish orange mix. Using that Mars black paint from before, I painted the pupils as well as the small spikes on the forehead and the shoulder engravings. The visible parts of the base on the shoulders were painted with that same Mars black. And the final step was to hit the eyes with a gloss Mod Podge. After these were finished up and I let it sit for a while, I realized that I actually hated how it came out. In my 3D model, I had slanted the eyes slightly towards the nose, and that was giving me an awful cross-eyed effect. So instead of leaving it how it was, I re-uploaded this video. I used a Dremel to drill the eyes back out and re-sculpted them with air dry clay and followed the same process as before. I think they came out a million times better, and I'm more proud to say that I did that. So with that, let's get to some glamour shots. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and consider subscribing. I wanted to take a second at the end of this video and just thank everyone who watches my videos. I can't tell you how much the support means to me. I really didn't think I could gain traction on here at all, so it's really hard to believe that at the time of this video going up, I'm at 990 subs, so nearly 1,000. So really, thank you guys for your support. Leave a like if you want to see a different build, leave a comment and suggest something, and tune in next time. Thanks, guys.